This Halloween, ghoul all out with Instacart. Whether you're hunting for the perfect costume, eyeing that giant bag of candy, or casting spells with eerie decor, we've got it all in one place. Download the Instacart app and get delivery in as fast as 30 minutes. Plus, enjoy $0 delivery fees on your first 3 orders. Offer valid for a limited time, minimum $10 per order, service fees, other fees, and additional terms apply. Instacart, bringing the store to your door this Halloween.
Hey, I'm Ryan Reynolds.
Recently, I asked Mint Mobile's legal team if big wireless companies are allowed to raise prices due to inflation. They said yes. And then when I asked if raising prices technically violates those onerous 2-year contracts, they said, "What the f*** are you talking about, you insane Hollywood ass f- So to recap, we're cutting the price of Mint Unlimited from $30 a month to just $15 a month.
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See details.
Hello and welcome to 31 Days of Terror, day number 9, and I have 3 spooky stories for you today, and the last story comes from September the 1st, 2024, and story number 1 comes from Mary. My daughter and I went to a version of a psychic fair in Illinois in 2019. It had a new agey name like Spirit Fest or something, but it was a psychic fair. My daughter was sure the boyfriend she lived with was going to propose, so she wanted a tarot reading to see when it might happen. This was on her mind. I was at a point in my life where I felt I could see my future without a reading, as in I'm going to work until I retire, crochet and listen to podcasts in a rocking chair, play with my grandkids and then, move on. The only question I had in my mind was whether or not to cut my long hair into a chin-length bob. That's how boring I am. My daughter got 2 tarot readings and neither saw a wedding proposal or anything related. I think one even pointed to a bad romantic relationship. This was a bummer for her. As we wandered around, I saw a woman at a table offering psychic readings, no cards or anything. I felt curiously drawn to her and sat at her table. She had a charming southern accent and in a very friendly, happy tone, she told me that my grandmother was with me and did not want me to cut my hair. I was flabbergasted. My grandmother, with whom I was very close, passed in 1993. My daughter's boyfriend ended up being a huge creep and they broke up about 6 months later. I did not cut off my hair, just trim it every few months. Mary, I'm just going to say this now, right? That is not boring. Knowing that you're, going to retire, you're going to crochet, listen to podcasts in a rocking chair, play with your grandkids, that kind of thing, that's not boring. That's knowing where your life is going. And being indecisive about whether or not to cut your hair into a chin-length bob, that's a big question, not a boring question. So I would argue, not boring, settled, steady, calm, prepared, content, not boring. I love stories that are about people who see psychics and they're weirdly specific and the person gets loads out of it because I just think it's such a lovely thing. A lot of people listening have had negative experiences with psychics or even kind of questionable experiences with psychics, maybe not necessarily negative. And I've had negative and questionable experiences with psychics, but I've also had positive ones. And for that psychic to tell you, hey, your grandmother says don't cut your hair, okay? When you're thinking about whether or not to cut your hair into a jaw-length bob, that's so specific and so specific to you. Also, I'm glad your daughter got away from that creep. Boo. Boo him. And story number 2 comes from Jon. I would start with a little family history for me. We began among the Vikings. Sometime later, some family ended up in Germany where we got our name. Most likely from our short fuse and tendency to be very serious. Sometime after that, we ended up in Ireland and stayed there for a long time. Next, either with the colonizers or fleeing the famine, we came to America. We now reside in the New River Valley of Virginia. This place was first dubbed New Dublin. You know why that is. I'm a Christian, and my take on the paranormal is as follows. God is real, angels are real, demons are real, Satan is real, and anything outside of those or outside of the book is open to interpretation. I don't argue with others about their beliefs, but I stick to mine. The beliefs of my roots, the Celtic ways, still move me. I love Celtic art, stories and music. They help me feel connected to my family's past. These instances I speak of are from my job at the local Walmart. I call it the Walton Asylum. If you've worked in a supermarket before bad weather, you know how crazy it gets. Needless to say, Walmart sees a lot of activity, so seeing ghosts or seeing things move is not exactly unusual. I've reached the point where I'm not freaked out by it, but I tell whatever is doing it to knock it off. What few sightings I have had were not clear. White figures and shadow figures. I was standing in the unloading area where I work. I was looking out a door window, but I could see the reflection behind me as well. I saw a white blob move across the room behind me. It weirded me out. I turned around and it was gone. Another instance of a white figure. It was taking a peek at me as I was pulling a pallet of pet food out. When I looked back, it quickly slid behind a rack of shoes. I followed it, and sure enough, it was gone. Lastly, for this entry, was on a rare occasion I was tasked with stocking the cosmetics and makeup. I was sitting down straightening the shelves when a shadow figure on all fours came around the corner and came over behind me. I didn't feel anything strange. It felt warm, alive. When I saw it walking on all fours, I thought of a dog that my family had lost. He was a black retriever. Maybe it was him. I can't be certain. Oh, I can't even imagine what it's like to work in a big supermarket before extreme weather. Oh, it must be horrendous. Do you remember how mad it was during various lockdowns and people were going crazy buying stuff and stocking up on stuff? And oh, I bet it is just not great to see. And how interesting that places like a Walmart would be haunted. But of course, why not? It's full of human energy. Why would there not be strange things that would happen there? And I don't know if the buildings are purpose built or maybe they've been recycled. Maybe they were something before. But I would not like to be in like a big storeroom or warehouse, moving things around, waiting for deliveries. And you're seeing shadow figures behind you in reflections, and you're seeing, these white figures peeking at you around corners. No, I'm just trying to get through my day of work. Okay, I do not need to have a little white figure taking a peek at you and then sliding back behind a rack of shoes before you get the chance to actually figure out what it is. Although the dog energy we will allow. We love a pet energy, especially if it feels warm and alive and lovely. And maybe it was your little black retriever coming back to just to say hey. And as a side note, I am so fascinated and indeed jealous of people who have traced their family origins, DNA, etc. back that far. I honestly can't get any further than my grandparents. That probably says a lot about my family history and my family tree on both sides. It also says a lot about terrible Irish record keeping and various other complications. But when people are like, my family go back to the Vikings and then they, went to Germany and then they ended up in Ireland and probably in America fleeing the Great Hunger. I just would love to have that information. And what an amazing thing to be able to have that connection to your roots.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up during inflation, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, bit to get 30, bit to get 20, 20, 20, bit to get 20, 20, bit to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold!
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See detail.
Hey, true crime fans. Tired of ads interrupting your gripping investigations? Good news. With Amazon Music, you have access to the largest catalog of ad-free top podcasts included with your Prime membership. After all, ads shouldn't be the scariest thing about true crime. To start listening, download the Amazon Music app for free or go to amazon.com/ad-free true crime. That's amazon.com/ad-free true crime to catch up on the latest episodes without the ads.
In a quiet suburb, a community is shattered by the death of a beloved wife and mother. But this tragic loss of life quickly turns into something even darker. Her husband had tried to hire a hitman on the dark web to kill her. And she wasn't the only target. Because buried in the depths of the internet is the kill list, a cache of chilling documents containing names, photos, addresses, and specific instructions for people's murders. This podcast is the true story of how I ended up in a race against time to warn those whose lives were in danger. And it turns out convincing a total stranger someone wants them dead is not easy. Follow Kill List on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to Kill List and more Exhibit C true crime shows like Morbid early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus. Check out Exhibit C in the Wondery app for all your true crime listening.
And story number 3 comes from Laila. My mother always told me that since I was a little girl, I had a connection to the spiritual world, almost like I had a sixth sense. She believed I would experience something extraordinary. My first ghost encounter happened in 2010 when I was 13 years old. Now, at 20, I have 4 siblings. Sam, the eldest, Autumn, the middle child, Gavin, the only boy, and Vera, the youngest. We've all experienced things that we can't explain. My mother never liked staying in one place for long, but we always remained in Maine. One particular house she rented was beautiful and secluded by woods, giving off a log cabin vibe. The house had 4 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. 3 of the rooms were upstairs: my parents' room, Gavin's room, and the room I shared with Vera. Sam and Autumn shared a room downstairs next to the bathroom, which was beside a basement that looked more like a cellar. The kitchen led right into the living room. After a few weeks of settling in, one night I woke up terrified. I had no idea why, but the hairs on the back of my neck stood up. From my bed I could see the open door, and I had this eerie feeling that something was going to appear. I couldn't move. Suddenly I heard heavy footsteps coming up the stairs, accompanied by the sound of someone bouncing a ball. I knew it wasn't my family. I was waiting for something to appear, and I heard shuffling towards the bathroom. I peeked my head a little bit around the door and didn't see anything at all. So I got the courage to get up, run to my sister's bed that was next to me, and slept with her. Do not ask me how I managed to get back to sleep. I woke up at 5 a.m. to my mother checking up on us and asking me what had happened. I gave her the rundown of what happened, and she seemed to reassure me that I would be okay. She took it upon herself to do some digging. She did ask the landlord, but they didn't really have an idea of what had happened previously before they turned it into a rental. Mom ended up finding records from the 1900s of a family, a husband, a wife, and a son. She managed to find out that the mother had taken her own life due to being in an abusive relationship with the father, and the son ended up losing his life as well. I think that I've heard the son around at night, and him coming right up the stairs. Another time, all of my siblings and I were in the kitchen eating ice cream together, just talking and enjoying ourselves. Suddenly, we were interrupted by the basement door violently rattling. It was so loud and unexpected that we all froze. My brother Gavin, gathering his courage, got up to open the door to investigate. When he opened it, there was nobody there. We all ended up being freaked out and huddled together, not knowing what to do. My mother came home from grocery shopping to find us all terrified. She listened to our story and tried to calm us down, but it was clear that something unexplainable had happened. My mother sensed that the energy in our house was negatively affecting us kids, so we had to leave. We moved, and ever since, my family and I often discuss that house, trying to make sense of our experiences there. Since then, I've felt like I can sense things in rooms that others can't. And honestly, I'm not sure how to feel about it. It's a chapter of our lives that is shrouded in mystery, and one we may never fully unravel. Oh, how good is your mum that she went and did that research and sort of validated all of your feelings. And it does sound like you were sensing the energy or the echo of the boy who used to live in the house. You know, that it was coming up the stairs, the sound of somebody bouncing a ball, like maybe the boy used to walk around the house bouncing a ball, a shuffling sound towards the bathroom, and then nothing. There is no kind of logical explanation as to why you would be hearing those sounds. And I'm glad your mom took it seriously and was like, okay, I'm going to do some digging. And obviously there was a lot of tragedy in that house, you know, even before the mother took her own life. Like, there was abuse in the household, there was clearly violence in the household, and it doesn't say in your story how the son ended up losing his life as well. But either way, it's the death of somebody very young. There was obviously a lot of sadness and a lot of misery in that house. And I think it's so great. I mean, terrifying and really scary, and any paranormal experiences are scary and kind of life-altering in a way, but it is great that you were all 5 of you were together when the door started rattling, that you all knew that what you saw was real, that what happened was real, regardless of what the reasoning for it was real, it happened. And again, is that the energy of the son? Is that the energy of the father that was trying to scare you in that house? Like, something was trying to make itself known to you guys for sure. And to be honest, that's the thing about the paranormal, isn't it? You probably are never going to be able to unravel that mystery. Thank you so much for listening to 31 Days of Terror Day number 9. Thank you to Mary, Jon and Laila for sending in your stories. Remember, the last story came from September the 1st, 2024. And if you would like to send in your story, you can do so by emailing it to reallifeghoststoriespodcast@gmail.com. You can also check out the website, reallifeghoststoriespodcast.com. And if you are desperate for some extra content, you can subscribe to the Patreon. That is patreon.com/reallifeghoststories, where for $5 a month or $2 a month, you get access to heaps of extra content, as well as every single main and mini episode completely ad-free. And on that note, I shall see you next time.
The new Boost Mobile network is offering unlimited talk, text, and data for just $25 a month for life.
That sounds like a threat.
Then how do you think we should say it?
Unlimited talk, text, and data for just $25 a month for the rest of your life?
I don't know.
Until your ultimate demise.
What if we just say forever?
Okay.
$25 a month, forever.
Get unlimited talk, text, and data for just $25 a month with Boost Mobile forever.
After 30 gigabytes, customers may experience slower speeds. Customers will pay $25 a month as long as they remain active on the Boost Unlimited plan.